Hi everybody and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig and today I have got from our friends at Hunkydory Crafts 3 of the most adorable deluxe craft pads. What is a craft pad? It has everything inside that you'll need. It has cardstock and die cuts and all kinds of goodies all in one, so that usually they have them individually placed inside a package. These are sort of bound, so it keeps everything nice and tidy, which I really like. So we have got Acorn wood, and Artist's Garden, and Teal Treasures. I can't wait to show you what I did with these collections, so come play with us. So let's start off with Teal Treasures. Let me show you what's inside of this. So it's got these wonderful sheets of die cut images and their wonderful foil frame, and look at how beautiful. And then it's got cardstock. It also has foil on that. And then some of these are sideways, but a lot of these are sideways. And this has wonderful, beautiful peacocks and butterflies and music. And then these are really screen back sheets of not cardstock but a heavyweight paper, and these are great to put inside the cards, sort of liners to just make it extra special. There we go. So let's start off with this card. This is actually still in progress. We're going to finish this up together, but this is a gatefold, and this is very, very easy to put together. I'm going to show you what I used here. This oval has 2 frames, and then you have this part right here. I took out the center teal frame so that I'd have a space between the outer frame and this inner artwork, so that they sort of nested in there really nicely. And then for the cardstock, I used one of these, this one right here. All right, so you can see here, I have what's left. I used this portion of it, which leaves me a whole bunch left to do something else with, which I'll get to in a moment. So let's talk first about your gatefold card. I started off with a 5 by 6.5 inch card, and I'm going to fold the sides into the center. Now let's talk about scoring. Sometimes I like to score things and sometimes I don't. If I score things, it always looks way better, but sometimes I'm impatient and I just fold things in. So I'm going to show you some techniques for scoring. If you're lucky enough to have one of these, this is the adorable scoreable mini scoreboard. A scoreboard has the ruler edges on it and has these grooves in it, and then it has this bone folder to make scoring really, really easy, okay? And if you don't have one of these, this is how it works. I've already scored this side. So each one of these is 5 inches wide. So if I want to have it fold to the center like that, okay, so that's one panel or one flap that's going to be now my front of my card. I need to score this at 2.5 inches. So I'm going to put this right here, and it's got this nice area to just really block that out. And then we're going to go to the 1/2 inch mark, which is right here. Let's zoom in on this, Steve. We're going to go to the 1/2 inch mark, and you just place this right here, and it's already going to be in that little notch. And then you're just going to run it right down like that, and that's scoring, okay? So it makes it nice and easy so that when you fold this in, you don't have all these little crease marks on the inside. See how clean that is? All right, so if you don't have one of these, I'm going to give you a little trick here. You can use a bone folder. You can also use the edge of your scissors, okay? You can use a ruler and either one of these items. So I'm going to use the bone folder, and I think it's handy to put this on something kind of that has a little bit of give, or it's kind of squishy. So you could use a mouse pad to put under this when you're scoring. You could even use just like the back of one of these pads to score, okay? So you're not going to be pushing it very hard, so you're just going to take your ruler and go like that, and you'll still get a nice scored edge, okay? It's not gonna be the same as using the scoreboard I have found, but it works, okay? Then, there's another little trick. I'm gonna show you my I'm too lazy to get up from where I am because my scoreboard is across the room trick. So, for that, you take your card and you place it, this is just a paper cutter, okay? And a paper cutter has a groove right here. Wow, we're really blurry. Maybe we can zoom out a little bit, Steve. So the paper cutter has a nice little groove in there for when you're cutting your paper, okay? And what you would do is take your card, place it right here, take your bone folder or your scissors, because your bone folder's across the room. What are you gonna do? And you just take this and you just place that right here in that little groove or that little ditch, and you just go all the way down like that. I do that more often than I should admit to because my scoreboard is across the room and I'm too lazy to get up. Okay, so there's 3 ways to score your card. So now we're folded in just like this, and we're gonna take the cardstock and we're gonna cover first this flap, okay? And put some glue on it and cover that, and then the next flap we cover this way, and that way the pattern is actually lined up in the background there. All right, and then once we have those all covered, then I'm going to take this outer frame and I glue it only, well actually first, Lene, you're going too fast. We should put some dazzles down. So these are fancy border dazzles in pearl and pastel. I love this pearl green, okay? And there's all kinds of pastel colors in here, metallics as well. And I put a length of green, this pearl green, along the top and the bottom, okay? And then trimmed it here. All right, so now I took my frame and I glued it just to the left side of the card. And then this little part I foam taped just to the right side of the card. And for foam tape, there's a couple of different options we have at Paper Wishes. You can use this giant roll of foam tape. There is 50 feet or 150 yards here, and there's actually some missing from this because I've been using it. Or these cute little foam tape squares, okay? So either one of those will work, and all of these supplies I'm going to be listing below this video at Paper Wishes webisode page, below the video. So just click down there to products used and you'll see a nice drop down list. All right, so there we have it. Now I have the inside and I have that seam right here. So we're going to cover that with one of those little inside papers that I was showing you, and all the glue I like to use for all of this is Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue, which is fantastic. And we're just gonna put little dots. And I get asked all the time, the amount of glue that you use when you're filming, is that how much glue you really use? Absolutely, it doesn't take a lot of glue. You just wanna make sure that the outside edges, especially the outside edges of your card, have enough glue on them because they get the most wear with people opening the edges of the card. But you only need a dot or two at the center. This glue really, really holds. Okay, and I just let that set up for just a few minutes. Well, not even a few minutes, a few seconds. And I like to turn my card over when I'm trimming paper or cardstock. And then I'm just trimming that even with the card. And there you have that part. Now we're going to add a little greeting because we can. This coordinates. Have a fabulous day. Now I don't want to put it in the way and getting mixed up with this little mechanism right here. So I am going to put this, I think, right there. I want it to be sort of opposite this little bow that I made. Also, the bow is from Teal Aqua ribbon set and has this fantastic glimmer shimmer velvet ribbon. And so I wanted to put a greeting opposite that so that there's balance on the card, and see, it doesn't interfere with the opening and closing. So when you're opening that card, you get that really beautiful image on the inside. Okay, so now on this card we still have this amount of cardstock left right here. So I'm going to show you something else we can do with this. So I have a card here. This is the 6.5 by 5 inch. I use my paper trimmer and I cut away, gosh, how much did I cut away? 2.5 inches, just from the card front flap. So I can put that away. And I'm going to take what's left of this and I'm going to glue this just to the card front. I'm going to show you today what I'm really focusing on is how many cards you can get from a single sheet of die cuts and then also a single sheet of this cardstock, because it really goes a long way. And this is good stuff, you guys. You don't want to waste any of it. All right, so while that's sitting there, I have, here is another die cut from here. This is from this sheet where it's got all these wonderful framed images. I took all the frames off of this and I'm going to put a little foam tape on the back of this using my foam roll. I just cut little strips and I'm going to center that right there. Oops, not quite centered. There we go. Now this should be set up enough, so we're going to go ahead and trim this even with the card. And all these little pieces I have left here, all these little strips from this cardstock, I can use that inside a card. I can use it along the bottom edge of a card for a border. Okay, so I still have plenty of good stuff left to use, so don't throw that away. All right, now we're going to take, this is some of these wonderful pastel borders that I was showing you. I'm going to pick one out here. I think this one. They have these wonderful little thin line strips in this pearl green. And I like to put things on the edge that are cut away just to give it a nice finish. So you can see I tacked that down on one edge, just stuck that sticker down, and then I'm going to the opposite edge, tacking that down, and then you place it like that. And that'll give you a really nice straight edge. Straight line, rather, if you're putting it on an edge. Also, don't throw that away, because you could take some and you could put it right down here. Let's see, let me get this. There we go. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of another piece here. All right, now you can turn that over and just trim that even. And then I've got a little bow I can put right there because we want a little glamour. Oops, I'm gonna get that glue off there. Actually, I like it better here, holding our little bouquet. But you could put it up there as well. All right, so there you go, 2 cards down. All right, so that is Teal Treasures. Let's take a look at Artist's Garden. So for this one, let's take a look in here. If you want a closer look at these, I'm sure Paulette has done a product video on this. So if you just look on the product page, for this, you'll see more. So here we've got 3 cards, 1, 2, 3 that I did using this one page right here and this one sheet of cardstock and a little bit of the liner paper. Which one? Let me find it. Ah, come on. There we go. This one right here. All right, so for the first thing is I took a 5 by 6.5 inch card And I took the cardstock that I showed you, this one right here, and I just glued that right there across my card, okay? Just the card front. Then I took some of those wonderful little pastel fancy border dazzle stickers, and it has silver in it. I could have used a silver one right there to go with the silver foil on this, but I really wanted to pop out this green on this side of the card, so I used one of the green ones right here, pastel green. And then I took some magenta and dark pink ribbon, and I just overlapped 2 of the tags from right here. I took this tag and this tag and overlapped those, and then another tag down here, and just attached that ribbon with a nice little bow. And then I had a little bit of ribbon that I'd cut off from one of my ends to even it up, and I just folded it in half and I just stuck it under the foam tape on there. And then on the inside of this card, I just glued a portion of this liner paper right there, and I still have all of that left for another card. For this one, I used a slimline card, and I used this portion right up here, okay? Well, actually, no. Yeah, I used this portion right up here, okay? And just cut that a little bit smaller than my card. I took the border from the die cuts, put it there. I took another one of these green borders right here, the dazzle sticker, put it along the top. I used some foam tape. I used this piece right here, glued that, or foam taped that there. Took 2 of the magenta ribbons. There's a really thin, like 1/8 inch sheer and a little bit of baker's twine. And I just held them together to make a bow. And then foam taped this little greeting right there. Very, very easy to do. All right, and then for this card, I'm using a 5-inch square card. These are available from Hunkydory Crafts. We have them at Paper Wishes. And for this one, I took this image right here. I also took a little bit of that pink cardstock that was left, and I just glued it right across the center. Then took this frame, glued that there. Then took this piece of art, foam taped it, glued a little bit of ribbon here, and foam taped this little guy right here. And then a really cute thing to do with this particular pad of artwork is, because it's a lot of black and white images, you can take your pens and you can color in some of those images. So let's zoom in a little bit on this Steve. And this one I have bright pink blend and light green blend. All right, so I'm gonna go for the lightest color of my bright pink, because this paper is a really nice bright pink, and I'm going to color the strawberries. Just a really cute little shade of bright pink, just to add a little focal, little pop of color on here. I should mention these are tri-blend markers. They're alcohol pens by Spectrum Noir. There's actually 3 pens in one. That's the lightest. Then there's a medium shade. So I can take that medium shade and I can just put a little darker shade near the top of the strawberry, just to give that a little more interest. And then there's a darker shade. And I can take that for the ones that are inside the basket, put a little dark shade dot. I'm going to go back to the light and just color those in a little bit. Oops, I went out of the border there a little bit. That's okay. And then we can take this color too, and we can add, here's another strawberry down here on the ground. See if I missed anything else. There is some beautiful flowers here. We could just take little tiny dots. They're pretty wispy. Cute. Now we're going to take, this is a light green, and we're going to color in those leaves and just do this lightest shades right here. And then we want to make sure we have just a dot of green for the leaves, just a little bit on the caps of each one of those strawberries. And then we can also take a different shade, this medium green, and go over, this could be basil. I'm not really sure what that little sign says on that pick, but they do look like little leaves. We're just going to put those on there. And then you can just add a little bit of green to this grass-like material that's in the basket. So you get my point. We're just kind of adding little spots of color there. Yeah, I like how that's turning out. Okay. So I'm going to stop right there. Little goes a long way. So as you can see here, I used the lighter shade of the bright pink and the lighter shade of the light green tri-blend markers, and all of this stuff is going to be on the drop down menu for the products used, and as well as we have a photo gallery with all of these, and if you click on the photo gallery below the video, you can find all of the supply lists for these as well. All right, so let's move on to Acorn Wood Deluxe Craft Pad. This is so sweet. I love the art on this. So cute. Little critters in the woods, little friends. So we're going to start off with this one right here. And I'm going to make an easel card. So for an easel card, you start off with a 5-inch square card. I scored across the center, so that's at the 2.5-inch mark. And I'm going to fold that to the center. All right, now that's got a nice fold in it. And so then I have right here this beautiful circle piece. I took out that center lavender frame, and I'm just using this big pink patterned frame right here. And then I cut some of the cardstock right here. I just cut a little square out of that fit my frame. So this is a 4.5-inch square. And I'm going to glue this only to the bottom portion of my card, so the top is free of glue. So we're just going to put a couple of dots of glue right here and here, and then I like to put some on the bottom corners as well, just so when I set this down I can center it. There we go. I'm going to center that on my card, make sure that takes hold, so that when I lift that up, there's my easel, okay? And then I need to do something on the inside here so that it's decorative when people open it. So I took a little bit of this beautiful purple gingham cardstock, which is right there. Just cut a little piece off this end. And we're going to glue that right there. And we're going to use another one of these cute little pastel fancy border dazzles. Which one? I think we're going to use this one. Before I put that on, I'm going to go cut this even with the card. Oop, I didn't get enough glue towards the top edge of that cardstock. That's okay, that's easily fixed. Just tuck a little bit more glue under there. All right, I'm going to take my beautiful little dazzle border and I'm going to place it along the top edge right here and go all the way across. Smooth that down. Just kind of going up on this side a little bit, so I'm going to straighten that out. There we go. All right, I'm going to trim this also away, but don't throw that away. You never know what you can use with that for. All right, so now I just need something to go right there to foam tape that to prop that up. So I've got this little greeting here. It's happy birthday. And I'm going to put that right there. It's got a piece of foam tape on the back. I'm going to put it actually just below the border so that when it stands up, you see that nice little border edge. Okay, and I think I want to put a decorative border along the bottom edge too. Just kind of thinking on my feet as we go. Okay. So I think I've got all my things. As you can see here, I put a little bow ahead of time there, and that is from the gingham ribbon set. Little lavender. I picked up this sweet little lavender banners and such. So now we've got this little party time. And for this one, I'm putting 2 layers of foam tape on there because I'm going to glue it right in that little ditch there between these 2 pieces, between the artwork, the circle, and that frame. I want it to stand up a little higher. So there you go. Really easy, cute little easel card that stands up like that when the recipient gets that. So now you guys, we've still got this piece right here, which is upside down. So I can still get more cards out of this one. So I'm going to take, this is a slimline card. It's 8.5 by 3 inches wide. I'm going to glue that right there. But I think I'm going to glue it because I want to get in my little cute little owl. I'm going to glue it even with the edges here. There we go. So I'm going to center that going across the card. This is going to be a really fast one. Turn that over. And as you can see, I'm still going to have plenty of cardstock. I can like use this for the borders of the cards, below, inside the cards, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to take that, and then we've got our cute little borders. Let's do this cute little, oops, pink one. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting that across the top edge because I want to cover that little space I had at the top of the card. Trim that. All right, and we're going to turn this over and we're going to do the same thing on this side. And now I've got a nice little piece of yellow ribbon. I could put a little greeting on there as well, which I forgot to pop one out, but we're going to start with our ribbon. This is cute little yellow gingham ribbon. If you've never folded a bow or you're having tricks with it, I'm going to show you a little, if you're having trouble with it, I'm going to show you a little trick. So it's just like tying your shoes. So we're going to start like this with, remember that little loop like we tie our shoes with a little bunny loop. We're going to take this size. I like to start with about a 10-inch piece of ribbon, and then we're going to go around the loop, and remember the little bunny hole where your thumb is. We're going to go through the little bunny hole, the rabbit hole, and then we're going to tie it like that. But it never turns out perfectly when you first tie it, so then you have to manipulate it. Don't be afraid to manipulate that bow until it just is just the right size. The tails are just the right length. And then I like to trim my ribbon. Ooh, these are dull scissors. I need to sharpen them. Trim my ribbon at an angle so that it doesn't come unraveled like that. And then we can just glue that right up near the top. Just like that. And then I can take one of the little greetings here. Let's do make a wish, or how about on your special day? Take on your little special day, make a couple of these little squares. And we're going to put that right there. And then you've got this really sweet little card that you can send out as a little last minute greeting. So you guys, as you can see, these kits make a ton of cards. I've shown you lots of techniques about how to get lots from each one of your sheets of die cuts and your card stock. And we have great money savers on a bundle of all 3 of these, which I think you can see you can use these and they'll go a long way. Whew, my ribbon fell off, my bow. There we go. So, so if you're watching us on our Paper Wishes webisode page, just look over there on the right-hand side and you'll see the money saver on all 3 of these Deluxe craft pads from Hunkydory. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we haven't forgot about you. Look below the video in the description box and you'll see a link and it'll take you to Paper Wishes webisode page, and you'll see the money saver deal on the right hand side of the page. You'll also see the product used drop down menu where you can see everything that I've used here today, as well as the photo gallery, which is also directly below the video. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.